I've worked with hundreds of women entrepreneurs to help them market their businesses. Behind their businesses, they all have stories to tell. Whether it's battling mommy guilt, starting a business after being fired from a six-figure job, or realizing they needed to pivot and forge an uncharted path, they've all experienced something on their journey to success. I'm one of these women too, and I'm here to share our stories on Bright Girls in Business. What's up, everybody? It is Chanel Yarber of Bright Girl Media. I am the Bright Girl and the host of the Bright Girls in Business show, and we are back another Wednesday, just like I promised you last Wednesday. We will be back, and this week I have not one, but two guests. This is my first time interviewing two people, so, I'm feeling a little fancy, a little snazzy today. And I have two guests here, and we're going to talk about why women need to get fit in order to be fabulous. And so I want to introduce you to Miss MarQuisia Johnson and Dr. Terilyn Scott Winful. So I'm going to give you a little background on who they are and why they're qualified to talk about this topic. So starting with Dr. Terilyn Scott Winful, she is a gastroenterologist, and I said that and I did not stutter, so look at that. She is a gastroenterologist, and then I stuttered after I said that, right? Here in Plano, Texas. She received her medical degree from Baylor College of Medicine, and she's been practicing medicine for over 20 years. She is a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated Tau Omega chapter, where she serves passionately as the chairwoman for the Fit and Fabulous Women's Health Expo. And so welcome.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, ma'am. And then we have Miss MarQuisia Johnson, who is also a member of the Tau Omega chapter, where she currently serves as president. She also serves on numerous other committees, and she serves all across the doggone everywhere I see her. Okay, like she is she is busy at work, always serving her community. And she also, has, of course, a corporate job where she's been for, over 25 years?
23.
23 years she's been in telecommunications, and so we want to welcome Miss Johnson to the show, too.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, I'm excited. So y'all know I've talked about this before on the show. I'm a proud member of AKA, too, so just to see my sisters here in pink and green is, giving me a little love, some feels. So I want to hop right into our topic because we're talking about being fit, being fabulous. Women's health is something that's I'm passionate about personally because I've had my own health challenges along the way. I've had cancer scare. I have had PCOS. I have had mental health, issue. I've had all types of stuff going on with me. So, going into the pandemic, or now I guess they're kind of saying we're coming out of the pandemic. However, during the pandemic, we saw so many health disparities that were going on in our community, and especially with women of color, people of color in general. So, Dr. Terilyn, why does it seem like the Black community is always on the negative end of the spectrum when it comes to health care or health disparities?
So a lot of it had to do with not only access to care, but also using care. So with the pandemic, it really did show a lot of the health disparities. One thing, unfortunately, that kind of was an underlying issue was the fact that we have such a large amount of weight problems in our community. So some of the very initial studies that came out in the beginning of the pandemic showed that patients who had more hospitalizations and deaths from the coronavirus, was due to their weight and weight-related complications like hypertension and diabetes.
Wow. That brings me, when you were saying that, it brought me to a point. I was talking to someone just about 2 days ago, and we were just talking about some of the stigmas that were going on during the pandemic. People were afraid to be immunized. People were saying that it was fake or 5G. They were saying all these different things. It was all these weird conspiracy theories going around. And my friend was saying that he lost one of his very close friends, but the guy was like a bodybuilder. So he was like, buff and fit. And he was like, oh, nothing's going to happen to me. I take my vitamins and I work out. And the guy succumbed to.
So there are a lot of different things that will lead to or can contribute to someone having a poor outcome. And so it's something we don't even know about. But as far as having underlying diseases like diabetes, hypertension, but then there's unknowns too. And so it could be asthma, it could be something that we even know about. So, but the majority of the young people who unfortunately succumbed to COVID, they had something to do with their underlying health or weight. I saw so many Facebook posts, or on social media, I should say, where you'll see some young guy who was like in his 30s and 20s. And I was looking at this, and categorically, that was something that was common with all of them. And so just if you look at the data from the CDC and the WHO, Black women have 58% obesity rate in this country.
Whoa.
And that parallels our young girls, young Black girls are around 28%. With men, it's a little bit less, but that is something that is driving a lot of our health problems. And for that reason, about 4 years ago, I did training to become board certified in obesity medicine as well as GI.
Nice. So tell me a little bit about that. What does obesity medicine look like?
So that is going to be really trying to understand all of the inputs that leads to someone's weight. One thing that it's not is just calories in and calories out. It has to do with your genetics. If your grandmother and mother had weight, you probably gonna have weight too. It has to do with your access to food as a child. If you had an issue with not having enough food and having security, that's an increased risk of having weight later on in life. Some patients who had poor choices, they come from a background that's poor, so they were only able to eat, fast food or things that are prepared. Access to exercise. If you're living in an area where you couldn't go outside and play, you're going to be inside because it's safer. Not getting exercise as a kid. There's so many things, and so in our evaluations, we start at birth. When was the first time you had a problem with your weight? And we calculated throughout their entire life, trying to figure out. Another thing in women, and Black women in particular, with pregnancy, we tend to gain more during pregnancy and then not lose it. So there's so many different factors that lead to it.
Wow. I'm listening to all these factors and I'm like, okay, check. It just seems like we're almost set up. I don't want to say to fail, but it kind of sounds like we're set up to fail socioeconomically. Like that kind of triggers a lot of the health issues or the obesity down the line.
Potentially, however, with getting understanding of what those factors are, you can try to overcome them. So understanding that what your triggers are. I have some patients who didn't realize that as a child, because they had food insecurity, that they learned that, whenever I have food, I have to eat it all. And so they developed binge eating. But then when they were older and they got to a place where they had abundance of food, that pattern still was there. They couldn't stop eating. And so we talk about these things and we're able to try to shed light on it. So instead of just existing, you have some introspection, some understanding to be able to change. Because the whole idea is having hope and change. If you have hope, you can do the emotional labor to change, and that's going to be the executive labor.
I like that. That's really insightful. I don't hear people talk about weight management or health management in that way. So I know for me, I was skinny my whole life. Like my friends used to call me stickly when I was a kid. I was super skinny. Like feed me all the cornbread and greens because I was that skinny. And then as I got older, just out of nowhere, it seemed like I just one day woke up fat or something. Like I know that sounds bad. Like I literally feel like I went to bed one day and I woke up the next day and I was like, where did all this weight come from? And I didn't realize how much hormones and stress have to do with weight. It wasn't that I was just eating so much or being lazy or laying around or anything, all the things that people try to tell you. It was that I was having serious hormone issues and imbalances, and that just triggered the weight. And then with stress and all of that stuff, it just made it harder and harder for me to deal with. So ladies, if you're watching this, make sure you're watching your stress levels, because when your cortisol goes up, it helps you to hold on to weight, because your body is like,
Well, I can actually explain that. So
go ahead, tell the people, because I don't know what I'm talking about.
Whenever you're chronically stressed, okay,
Yes.
that increases your cortisol level. So your cortisol is just like prednisone. Prednisone is a anti-inflammatory hormone that we use to treat inflammation, and if taken for a long period of time, it can lead to weight gain. So if your natural prednisone hormone is elevated due to chronic stress, it can cause you to gain weight because of that input. So that's part of the puzzle. So, being as Black women, we're chronically stressed, right? Carrying the weight of the world on us, basically. And so that will contribute. But there are other things too, like sleep and, getting the right amount of exercise and a lot of different things. So there's so many inputs. The most important thing to know is that if someone tells you, oh, eat less, move more, it's way more complicated than that.
Mm-hmm. It definitely is, because I was doing that, and it was like, the scale was like, yeah, no.
But that being said, too, it's also important to know that, the studies on biomechanics, biometrics for women, you might know about the BMI, the body mass index. So those don't, not the same for every demographic. By that I mean, Black women, actually, we should shift, or should be I wouldn't say judged, but should be measured on a slightly different BMI scale than Asian women or even Caucasian women, because of our natural, our body types. We have more muscle. And so in general, we say that the BMI cutoff for the general population is 30, as starting with obesity. For us, it's actually 31. Conversely, for Asian patients, because they have a smaller frame, you shift the BMI about 5 points down. So if you have someone who's Asian and their BMI is 25, they're probably having obesity.
Wow.
I know, and so that's part of like the training when you do an obesity medicine fellowship, or you do a training like I did just outside of fellowship. You learn these different things, and that way you can take the knowledge and tailor it to what that patient needs.
Well, somebody needs to tell my doctors that, because I just came from the doctor. I did my annuals. I always do, I go to my gynae and I go to my primary care and my endocrinologist. This lady asked me, do you want me to put you on some diet pills? And I'm sitting here like, am I that big? Like, why are you trying to put me on diet pills? So do all the doctors know this? And I'm asking, like, for me, because I feel like sometimes we go, and part of the reason why our community, back to your original point, may not feel comfortable going to the doctor, or may, just not want to go, is because either they feel like they're getting false information, that it's distrust. Like, where is this knowledge being shared, and where is it coming from, and how do we break down that stigma to get us to bridge the gap there?
That's a really loaded question. So most primary care, so I have to say, and so all physicians are treating obesity, but we're not all doing a good job of it. Either you are trying to prevent it, you're treating obesity, trying to help someone to lose weight, or are you trying to prevent regain? Okay, so most primary care doctors are trying to prevent it, but once someone already has obesity, and it's a medical condition, right? That it takes a lot more effort than you can get into a 15-minute visit with your PCP. So if you really want to get help, it's important to see someone who is specialized in that, because that way they can give you the attention that you need to figure out how to get to the space.
Okay, that's a good answer. Thank you. So I want to shift, because MarQuisia, you've been real quiet over here. I want to, lob a question over to you. So we're here because we're really talking about Fit and Fabulous, which we're gonna shift to that shortly, and you'll learn a little bit about what the Fit and Fabulous Health Expo is. But women's health and health in general has always been a big push from our sorority. And so what ways has our chapter historically engaged with some of the health initiatives?
Well, first, let me say I had to be quiet because I've always been taught if you can't say amen, you got to say ouch. And so I've been a plus size all my life. And so I'm taking in from Dr. Terilyn. Thank you for this information. But since its inception, Tara Omega historically has been an advocate for women's health. We have participated in Relay for Life several occasions, raising funds for cancer research. We partnered with NAMI to raise awareness for mental health and wellness. And also, we had a partnership for 8 years with the American Heart Association, participating in their Pink Goes Red campaign for women, donating funds, hosting yoga parties and Zumba dance parties and line dance parties, also having panel discussions for women to learn about heart disease and stroke prevention. Just this year, as it relates to the pandemic, we had a vaccination drive. We partnered with St. Luke Baptist Church, and we had a vaccination drive where you could come and get your COVID vaccination, your booster, the flu shot. And we've also provided free mammograms and breast cancer screenings for uninsured and underinsured women. We partner with Sisters Network as well as Solace Mammography to provide that. And if I can give a shameless plug, this Friday we will be at Kendra Scott Jewelry. We will be there from 5 to 8 p.m. at the Preston Center, and we'll be raising funds, partnering with them to provide those free mammograms. And so Tara Omega has been on the forefront for the past almost 30 years, being an advocate for women's health. We are an organization of women, and in order to continue in our professions and in our personal lives, we have to be healthy. And so, we're blessed to have several medical professionals, such as Dr. Terilyn, who are members of our chapter as well as our organization. And so it's very important that our mental, physical well-being is taken care of, because we can't serve the community if we're not healthy. We can't serve others. Our administration for the next 2 years under my leadership is helping others pursue excellence. And so we have to pursue excellence in our health and well-being as well.
I love that. You just rattled off all these things, and I've been a part of them, right? And I'm like, man, we do this, we do that.
Absolutely.
We did do this.
Absolutely.
And I will honestly say, since being a member, just by being in the midst of all of this stuff, it has raised my awareness. And then, like you said, being around, Dr. Terilyn and other doctors that are in our chapter and just talking about women's health. I went and got my first mammogram this year.
Yay.
Yes. I was so nervous, y'all. I was like, oh, Lord, they about to, like, what they about to do to me?
And that's one of the things that we have to do. We have to share, because like you said, a lot of women, when I went to go get my first one years back, they were like, oh, it hurts, it's this, it's that. And then when you go experience it, it's not like that. And so, being someone who had fibroids, I dealt with fibroids, I always encourage people, if you're having that issue, come talk to me. Let me share with you what happened to me, what I went through, the things I dealt with. And so we do have to share. That's a part of what Fit and Fabulous is. We're sharing information to educate people. It's not scary to go to the doctor. It's not scary to go checked out. It's good preventive care. It's good self-care. And so, congratulations on your first mammo. But we as women, we have to take care of our bodies, because as she said, we deal with a lot of stress, especially Black women, professional Black women. I work in IT in a male-dominated industry. And so as a Black female, I don't see myself that much. And so, you carry that in your work, and then it spills over into the sorority. We have the stresses of, raising funds. We want to provide for the community. We have to be there for our sisters, because we have sisters who need us as well. And so Dr. Terilyn is actually my doctor. I have another doctor who's in our chapter that is my doctor. And so, I just appreciate that you're having this conversation to let others know, don't be scared. Don't be scared. Go get yourself checked.
Yeah, for real. I love that, because I remember early on, I think I was about 17, I had my first well woman exam, and it was a man, okay? It was a man that did it, and I was just so freaked out and squeamish, and it hurt to me, and I remember him telling me, that don't hurt.
But how do you know?
How do you know?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
how do you know? And so from that point on, I had determined in my mind and in my life, all my doctors right now today are Black women. Because I need somebody that I can look to, that I can talk to, that I can say, hey, sis, look, this is what's going on. This is how I feel. And somebody can feel me back and understand that I'm not just making something up out of the sky. So I want to.
There's actually science behind that. It is documented that patients receive better care when their physician looks like them. So I can't tell you how many Black women that I see because they want to see me. And I think it has a lot to do with comfort. It has a lot to do with shared cultural background and understanding. And so if they're, unfortunately, as far as the medical field, it's only about 3% African American. And then, so you have to like find us, but we're here. And we're here ready to serve our community. So if you're able to find someone who's Black, then I recommend going forward. And then also in our community, we have tons of them. So.
Yeah, I search y'all out, my dermatologist, my gynecologist, like everybody that touches this body looks like me, okay? Like we have real candid conversations. I go in there with my gynecologist and we chop it up like I'm talking to y'all or anybody else. I go to I saw my dermatologist on the golf course a couple weeks ago. Like
Wow.
we have real relationships and they know me and I ask questions because so many times I know in my own body, your body, right? You live in this thing every day. This is who you are. And then to have somebody tell you, oh, that don't hurt, or that's not this, or that's not that. I think it can cause, this is in my mind, I don't know if you have some statistics behind this, Dr. Terilyn, but it may cause more issues because what you're telling somebody is to ignore how you feel. So, how do you speak to women about just being aware of themselves and them being in their body and seeing signs or signals that things might be off?
Well, to turn a different phrase, if you see something, say something. If you feel something, say something. And it's better to ask a question and have your fears or concerns explained or allayed than to not because you're scared of the response that you'll get. One thing I want to do, plug as well, so at the Fit and Fabs Expo, we have several panels of only Black doctors, Black male doctors, female cardiologists, neurologists, plastic surgeons, gynecologists, and so it's also an opportunity to be able to see someone like you and ask questions in a informal environment.
I love that. That makes me excited. So I want to shift. Let's talk about Fit and Fabulous. Let's talk about the event. That's what we're here to talk about.
Let's.
So let's talk about the event. So
Sure.
Why is this event, this particular event? Because it's what, our third year?
Our third year.
Yes, it's our third year doing
annual.
it. We had a couple hiccups. Well, I ain't gonna even say hiccups because the virtual event was fabulous. I
Yes,
watched
It
it.
was fabulous.
Yes.
We had a talk show. Damn.
Yeah, we had a real live talk show. We got some video to show y'all about this little, the event that we had. So we had it in person, and then we had to shift during the pandemic
Yes.
to, doing it virtually so that we could still serve our community. So yes, you can see the video, the 2021. Look at them, looking all fabulous up there. So why is this event so important now? Either of you.
You want to start?
Sure, I'll start. The reason why it's important now is because we're back in person. So most of us, many of us, if not all, have PTSD from the pandemic. And so, it's important for us to get back on the right track and to move forward in the post-pandemic era. For me, I know, there have been losses and gains in the pandemic, and that affects your mental. And not only your mental, but your physical as well. Some have gained weight, some have lost weight, some have gained through marriage and birth, some have lost through death. And so, we want to make sure that our community knows that they can be healthy, they can be fit, they can be fabulous even in the post-pandemic era, right? And so when they come to the expo, we want to educate, we want to inform, we want to encourage. And just as Dr. Terilyn said, you'll see people who look like you. You'll see people who speak the same language as you and can break it down. And, she has the medical terms, but then she'll always say, and that means X, Y, and Z. And that's important. So we want to provide that as Tau Omega chapter to our communities. We're in Carrollton, Louisville, Coppell. That's the community we serve, but anyone can come in the DFW area and get this knowledge so we can erase the stigma of fear as it relates to our bodies.
I love that.
That's good.
That's it. She said it. She wrapped
Mic
it
drop.
up. Yeah, drop the mic. So, Terilyn, you're the chair.
Yes.
And listen, y'all, she might be a little reserved right now, but she gets
She
real
is a
hype over this fit and
fabulous chair.
fabulous. This is her thing. Look at her.
This
Look
is
at her.
this is a passion project for me.
It is.
I've always wanted to be a part of an event like this and just to see things coming together. It's educational, but also edutainment. Not only do we have our wonderful panels on mental health, on brain health as far as preventing dementia. We have a very robust cardiovascular program where you will be able to learn how to do hands-only CPR. We have this, it's awesome. And we also have a Black Women's Health Matters panel where we have a gynecologist, infertility specialist, a Black female bariatric surgeon, and then Dallas's only Black female plastic surgeon.
Wow.
You talking about my doctor.
Girl, I'm talking. So the idea is to be healthy, what? Inside and out. So the inside is the fit, the outside is the fabulous, right? In addition, we are going to be giving out free flu vaccines and free COVID boosters, Pfizer and Moderna, okay? We have also, in an effort to uplift our community, we have partnered with a number of vendors that are Black-owned and Black female-owned.
Absolutely.
For health products, nutrition, fitness. And so it's an opportunity for us to come back together after the pandemic. We did have our first event in 2019 that was awesome. And so we pivoted away, and now we're going to pivot back to touching and agreeing, being together and being able to enjoy this opportunity.
So
And also on a personal level, we will also have a panel speaking about domestic violence awareness. One of our own members of Tau Omega chapter, Zena Williams, was a victim of domestic violence. She lost her life. Her family was impacted, and so we honor her memory. We have a scholarship in her name, which you can donate to now. And we're going to honor her memory through a domestic violence panel as well as a self-defense class at Fit and Fabulous.
Y'all, I am so excited. I don't like, I'm so excited to hear all of this. I know it's going on. I'm on the committee too, so whatever. I know that it's going on. But as y'all are telling me, I'm like, yes. Because how many times and how many spaces, safe spaces, do we have to come together, coalesce, talk about our health, talk about us? Like, your health really is your wealth. If your body goes down, it don't matter how much money you got.
Exactly right.
Trust me.
Nothing.
You have
You have nothing.
You have nothing.
If you don't feel good, mental health, you talked about mental health, you talked about physical health, heart health, you talked about plastic surgery. Like the whole woman. Like, where can you go and get all of this good information and
For
be
free.
supported?
For free.
It's free.
For free.
For
It is
free
free.
99.
And that is through the generous sponsorships by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Texas, the Steve Roman Medical Society, as well as Core Vascular Services. And we just today got one from blackhealthmatters.com. So we are really just rocking and rolling.
Ooh, this just makes me so proud. I'm so proud. And I'm going to say this on air. I'm so proud of you because
Yes.
you. Because you take on these projects and you really put your whole foot, your whole leg, your whole hip, and your booty in it. So You do.
Hip, leg, and boot.
Yeah, the whole
Is that
thing.
a dance?
You put the
Hey.
whole thing in there. And so I'm proud of you. I'm excited to see what's going to happen and to participate and, get my fit and fabulous on. So when is the event and where is the event?
The event is Saturday, September 29th.
October.
What did I say?
You said September. It's
Oh, Lord,
October.
that had passed. October 29th, excuse me, from 10 until 2. However, we have our third annual Walk This Way with AKA starting at 9:30, and that's going to feature Girl Trek.
Yes.
Girl Trek is a national movement to get African American women walking to help their health.
I love it. I walk every morning. Every single morning, this year in January, I set the intention and I said, I want to be the type of person that wakes up early and exercises daily. That was my intent. I said, I want to be that person. I didn't say I want to do it. I said, I want to be the person. you gotta put the words out there the right way. That was my intention. I want to be the person that wakes up early and exercises daily. And y'all, I've been exercising daily. I just got off of a 30-day challenge with my neighbors. We did 30 days of we exercised 2 times a day.
Wow.
Yes.
2 a days.
We
Wow.
did 2 a
That's
days.
good.
We did 2 a days. One time, had to be outside. It was 45 minutes each. No, we did no sugar, no fried foods, no alcohol. Oh Lord, I didn't drink wine or nothing for a month.
How do you feel right now?
Oh my God! I
Right?
feel like my
Fabulous.
body.
She feels
yes,
fabulous.
absolutely fabulous. Like when I put on some pants that was screaming before, and then this time they was like, "Yes, girl."
Okay. See?
That made me feel fabulous.
When you are fit, you are even more fabulous.
Absolutely.
There you go. So, before we wrap up, I always love to go down my top 5 questions. They don't know what I'm about to ask.
Oh, my.
them,
Okay.
We'll have some fun. Y'all trust
Absolutely.
me. This is a sisterly engagement.
Yes, we are sisters. I trust you.
Yes,
I trust you.
see, that's what I'm talking about. That's trust. So I'm going to ask the same question of both of you. And y'all just jump in and just answer whatever the first thing that comes to your mind is. We're going to roll.
Okay.
All right? So my first question is, if you had to go back to a certain age, what would it be and why?
I'll answer first. I love these type questions. Love. If I had to go back to a certain age, I would go back to 13.
Okay, why?
Why would I go back to 13? I don't want to go back to be a newborn because I don't want to learn how to walk and all that again. I don't want to go back to being an early adult because I want to go back to a time where I had no responsibility. I had no obligation. I want to go back to a time where I was free as a teenager to identify who I was going to be as an adult. Not necessarily that I would change anything, but I'd like to relive those days where all I had to do was go to school. All I had to do was be a good daughter. All I had to do, was go to Sunday school and church. Shout out to my church back home. All I had to do was be in my space because I feel like when I was that age, I wanted to be an adult. And now that I'm an adult, I can look back and I don't appreciate, I can't even appreciate the teenage time because I was rushing it. And so that's why I would start at 13. So I could take my time and enjoy my teen years.
I like that. That's good. Because I just told my mama that adulting is ghetto and she signed me up. So I told her that 2 days ago. I don't appreciate you signing. She said, I didn't sign you. I said, yes, you did. When you had me in 82, you signed me up that 20 years later, I would have to
Absolutely.
pay bills for the rest of my life.
Oh, my goodness, that's
Absolutely.
funny.
It's ghetto. What age?
I'm not going to say 13.
Okay.
Because you're looking at a geek and a nerd. And so that was hard during that time. So I didn't really blossom into myself and confidence until I was in college and medical school. Just a thought, medical school is probably the best time in your medical career because you have the prestige, but you don't have all of the possibilities. And so I was Dr. Terilyn to be, but then I didn't have to write all these orders and be on call and stuff. So I think somewhere between college, being pre-med, and medical school. I do like where I am now because back then I was paying, wasn't getting paid, but I was on my own and learning a lot and just learned so much in training. And so I would go back to like 21 to about 25. Not because I was cuter and snatched then, because I was, but it was more so. I really was. It was put out. Now I had all these kids, but it was more so that it was just so many possibilities popping up every day, learning things, and I really enjoyed that.
I love it. So if you're 25, what you say, 21 to 25 and you're watching this, savor the moment. That's what she's telling you. Savor the moment. So my next question is, you've had a stressful week. You know, everything has fallen apart at work. Everything is blowing up, right? You get home. What's your go-to thing to decompress?
I'll go first.
Okay.
Okay, all honesty, okay, guilty pleasure. I like to watch TV when I'm trying to relax. This is mindless, okay? So like, Criminal Mind reruns. I love like watching Hoarders or like watching, like Snapped or something, because it's just interesting because they have a lot of things going on as far as like psychiatric things, and then playing Two Dots because it's also mindless. Because from the time I get up in the morning, 7:30 until like 5:30, making decisions, do this and do this, and I have to be clear. So I like to do things that are just, oh, I made a 4, a circle of, a square of 4. I get to get some points. Or, oh, look at Shamar Moore. Yeah, he's looking good still.
Ain't nothing wrong with that.
And so that's like my thing.
I love it. Mindless entertainment.
Mindless
I
entertainment.
love it.
Well, everybody who knows me knows I love music. And so for me, the end of a stressful day or week would be no lights, candles, and music choice. And so I'll turn on either the smooth jazz channel or the regular jazz channel or throwback R&B, maybe soul, but it's just music, darkness, candles, and that's how I get my inspiration for a lot of the production I do for the sorority. But that unwinds me. Music speaks to me. It allows me to clear my thoughts, and it allows me to plan properly. And once I get about an hour or two of that, I'm ready to go.
I love it. I love it. Next, what is your all-time favorite vacation spot?
Oh, Vegas. That's easy.
Vegas?
Easy.
Okay.
Easy.
All right.
Vegas, it's funny, but Vegas relaxes me. I go to Vegas to relax. I know everybody's slots, shopping, Grand Canyon, shows, been there, done that, but I love to go to Vegas to relax.
Okay.
That's good. So I haven't been there since I was a kid, and even
Me
then I was in
neither.
the hotel because the parents were out,
Yeah,
gambling.
same.
So I don't know that I have one place, but I will tell you my best trip ever, and that was before the pandemic. My husband is half Ghanaian, and so we accompanied his dad and aunt, my whole family, all my girls, my husband, went to Ghana for 2 weeks.
Oh,
Nice.
Best trip ever,
Nice.
because I was so far removed from work that he couldn't call me because I was across the pond.
Yes.
And then, and just being around, our people, and just like, the food, the sights, the sounds. We went all over the country, went to Cape Coast Castle, saw the Door No Return, went to Elamina Castle, just saw all our people, and I got a whole bunch of dresses made. Just like, it was just like being there. And also our family had a family house there, so cooking meals for my kids. I love to cook, but when I'm coming home from work, I don't want to cook. I want to just like chill and eat, So it was just being away
Yes.
and being immersed in like that, our culture.
that's beautiful.
Nice.
That sounds like a good trip. Okay. Do either of you have any weird talents?
Weird talents.
What is a weird
I don't
talent?
know. Y'all tell me what it is.
So I'm not sure it's a weird talent, but when I was in medical school, living my best life, right? So I had a rotation that was pretty easy. I got out maybe at 3 in the afternoon, so it was nice. So that's when I started taking belly dance classes.
Oh,
And
terrible.
so I belly danced for about 20 years. I had to stop after I had kids. It was not happening, but I danced regularly, like weekly. I had a restaurant gig. I danced in other countries. I didn't stop, and I've officially retired this year, where I finally sold all my costumes and stuff because I wasn't able to do it anymore. But that's something that consumed a lot of my time for about 20 years.
I just learned.
I knew that about her.
Did you?
Yes.
I did not know this. Are you
I
kidding
still
me?
have some skills because it's in you. Once you do it for so long, if I hear the music, I can break a little dance out. So we should have like a girls' night.
I was
and
about
we
to say,
dance.
can you teach me? I watch belly dancers and like even hula dancers and stuff, and I'm like, how are they moving these hips and everything? Like, can you?
You can do something. No, the first thing you gotta do is do a little shimmy. It's the first thing you do. Just shimmy. Do a little shimmy.
Just a little shimmy.
Shimmy.
Y'all. Yeah, we got okay. We're gonna take this one offline. You're gonna have to teach me because
Okay.
you know that might come in handy sometime.
It might.
Do you have a weird talent?
I do not have a weird talent. I'm a plain Jane. You know, I'm just a musician, vocalist.
Okay, so that's
No.
your talent.
No weird talent, but that's my talent.
Okay, music and
I'm a singer,
singing.
songwriter, musician.
Okay, all right. I guess I'll take that. It ain't belly dancing though.
I got too much belly for that.
And here's my final question for the win. Okay, you've been given $100,000, but you have to choose between hiring a cosmetic surgeon to craft your perfect body or hiring Beyonce's personal trainer. Which one do you choose and why?
So you've been giving $100,000 to hire a personal hire either Beyonce's trainer or
A cosmetic surgeon to craft your perfect body.
okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and say it. I've already talked to I had twins, right?
Yes.
So and I've already talked to a surgeon. It doesn't cost that much, so I'm gonna say I will hire the surgeon and pocket the extra something else.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
Hey, it works. It works. Where you going? What you
It's
doing?
not hard to guess what I'm gonna say.
Okay.
I'll take cosmetic surgery for $1,000, Alex.
Yeah, like, look, I ain't working out. I don't care if it is Beyonce's trainer.
Well, because she has more than a trainer. She has her chef and she
Okay,
everything
well,
else, and
yeah.
her kids, nannies and stuff. So the training that's something that you can do. But for the surgery, yeah, I'll get that and pocket the extra. Okay. For that
all right.
vacation to Ghana again, maybe I don't know.
Thanks for both of those. Thanks for those perspectives. Because in my mind, I was like, oh yeah, if I could like train with her trainer and I look like her, then But I like to take the hard road sometimes. Anyway, so I want to thank y'all again for being here. Thank y'all for coming and sharing. Y'all shared a lot of knowledge. It was a lot of jewelry that was dropped off at this table today. So many gems just sprinkled all over the place. So thank y'all for joining us. If you are here in the Dallas area, I need to see you Saturday, October 29th. At what time?
So it's going to be at 10 o'clock for the main show, but if you want to come and get your workout with Walk This Way with AKA, that's going to be at 9:30. And also, if you register, you get a swag bag, and our swag bags are
Legendary.
What? Legendary.
They are legendary. Listen, last year I had people from Houston, Florida, Georgia saying, I want my swag bag. So register today.
Yeah, I still got some of my stuff from my swag bag, and I use it. Like, I'm like
Yes.
using it sparingly because I'm like, oh, I'm coming to the end of this, and I don't want to use all of that. But it's going to be some great products in there, great panels, great information, just a great time. So come join us. It is free. We will be at the
Hilton Garden in Louisville at 121, 786, 121 State Highway. You got to be there. It's going to be awesome. And then just go to fitandfabexpo.com to get more information.
Absolutely. If you want to be a community partner, please reach out to us. If you would like to be a community partner with Taro Omega Chapter, go to our website, www.akatro.org. We would love to partner with you.
Thanks, ladies. Come on, y'all. So next week, I will be back. Y'all know every Wednesday I am here at 6 live. I love to interact with y'all. I love to see y'all. I love all the comments. So if you like this video, I need y'all to go ahead and comment. Share it with another woman that you know that needs, a little encouragement on the health side. Get your little exercise partners together. Y'all watch the video all over again and learn and show up at the expo. Next Wednesday, I will have another person on, Miss Chantaquillette DeVale. She is a comedian. She is an author, a speaker. She is a community partner who uses humor to inform and to engage the community. And we are going to be talking about all things comedy, as well as her triumph over being a stroke. She's not a stroke victim. She says she's a stroke victor. So we are going to talk to her next week. So be here at 6 p.m. Don't be late. We'll be great, and we'll see you next week on the Bright Girls in Business Show.
Build a brand that grows your business. Let BrightGirl Media take the guesswork out of marketing your business. Our team is dedicated to helping you build a brand that is so powerful it woos your ideal clients. We offer custom website development, email marketing, social media marketing, and more. With membership subscriptions as low as $39 per month, we have solutions for every budget. Let's create a plan of action to make sure your business wins. Visit us at brightgirl.media to learn how we can empower you to reach